Hey, heroes, and welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at WandaVision, episode 8, previously on. It was a wild episode, lots of content, lots to go through. We're going to dive right on in. Let's do the opening scene. We've got Agatha going through a witch trial. We've got Salem, 1693. That makes Agatha like 328 years old if we stick to like 2021. So that kind of sticks true to the comics because Agatha's around for quite some time in the comics, and she's actually pretty old. However, her powers allow her to keep that way, which we kind of got to see what her powers are through that trial, with the other witches kind of like trying to, I don't know, banish her, kill her. Don't really know what their end game there, but Agatha kind of turned their powers against them and shot out her own purple magic to go to each of the witches. And it looked like she was draining their life force, which I guess is how Agatha has been around for so long, is that she feeds off of the power of other witches. Maybe people, who knows? So yeah, we saw her drain their powers and then which allowed her to take on her mother, which her mother was leading it, but she didn't want to be in the firing range, so to say. So she was kind of holding back until she absolutely needed to. And Agatha was claiming that she could be good, she just lost control. So, kind of like, what exactly was Agatha in? Like, what books, what magic was she learning? Was it like Dormammu? Or you getting like Doctor Strange vibes? Was she in like the dark arts, dark magic? So that was quite interesting and kind of gives us a background as to Agatha, her age, how she came about. So a good origin there. Next, we're at the same time. This is the first time where we're at the same time. We're not jumping to another decade, another sitcom era, nothing. Just picking up right where we left off in Agatha's basement. And we kind of see that Wanda can't use her powers for right now. We see Agatha transmute the cicada into a bird. So we know that it's not Mephesto. That kind of squashed that little idea that was going around. Is Mephesto still around? Maybe. I think this episode kind of confirmed that Mephesto's not going to show up. However, I'm still hopeful. I would still like to see Mephesto, at least if not Nightmare. But we're not really getting hints of either of those. Right now it's seeming that Agatha and Hayward are the two main villains in this. How they'll tie in later in the story will be very interesting to see. But yeah, and then we see her feed the cicada to the rabbit, which rabbits don't eat bugs. They eat plants and grass and carrots. Normal rabbit stuff. So, who is the rabbit? That's serious. I really want to know. Is it Nicholas Scratch? Is it like her son? Um, when she holds the rabbit up to her ear, is the rabbit actually saying something? Is the rabbit a transmuted nightmare? Is it somebody else just hiding, kind of pulling the strings, but trying to avoid suspicion by being this fluffy little bunny? I mean, no one suspects a fluffy bunny. I'm telling people, fluffy bunnies, you got to watch them. But yeah, that was very interesting to see. And then we kind of go through Wanda's life. So we get essentially an origin story on Wanda from the times that we didn't get to see, leading up to when she got her powers in Avengers 2. But the question we kind of saw is, did Wanda have these powers all along? Like, now that Marvel has X-Men, we have mutants. We weren't allowed, like, Marvel wasn't allowed to touch mutants or the idea of mutants because Fox owned it. Marvel owns Fox, Marvel has mutants now. So could they be trying to fix the fact that Scarlet Witch is actually a mutant and do that through retelling her story to where it showed that she had her powers all along? Was her mom and dad a mutant? I don't really think so. They didn't look like mutants. However, they looked, I don't know. It's too hard to tell. Um, because in the comics, her mom is Scarlet Witch. And it's actually hereditary, passes down. That's how she becomes Scarlet Witch. But we're not really getting that vibe from this. We're getting a vibe that she had her powers all along, but they were kind of uh, manifested, sedated, not as prevalent as they are now. So that's very interesting to see. And then we get to see Wanda with the Mind Stone, which this scene was just absolutely incredible. I loved it. The stone popping out, walking towards her, and actually breaking out of that blue casing. So you see the Mind Stone itself, which we got a glimpse of this in the trailer. Like way back when they dropped the trailer, we saw the Mind Stone just a little bit, like the yellow golden light. So I've been waiting for this moment for like the entire series. We finally got it, and she sees. I don't know. Who does she see? Uh, is it herself? Is it her mom that was actually the Scarlet Witch and actually coming to tell her that she's on the right path and or do something? Was the Mind Stone showing her the powers that she had already manifested in her mind? Um, this seems very interesting to me. I liked it a whole lot. I liked the tease to the full on outfit, the costume, the suit. I'm so for it. I want to see it. I hope we get it in the season finale during the epic battle scene because this just looks absolutely amazing. The Halloween episode, that was cool. We got a little glimpse, but I don't think it's going to be that cartoony, I guess would be the right word. I think we're going to get a more like crimson, a darker red, like a lot of people are saying, um, like a darker red, kind of scarlet, obviously, color. So that would be very great to see. I would love to see it. All right, next let's talk about Wanda going to Sword and that whole scene. So she lost Vision. What does she do next? She goes right to Sword, and she goes and she just wants to see Vision's body. And so they're kind of waiting. I like the little scene where she looks up at the camera, right, like staring, like right at Hayward, like you better let me in. I'm gonna break this door down. And I liked it. It was interesting. And then she opens the doors, not like forcefully, but with a good amount to open the doors. But no one reacts. So they all knew that she was going. And they lead her to Hayward's office. And then Hayward's office has that big glass panel with Vision's body that they're just like kind of using power saws and whatnot on. Like, it's vibranium. You know it's vibranium. You even said it was vibranium. Why are you trying to use a power saw on it? That how what? What how does that even make sense? Which kind of makes me think like what were they doing? You know that's not going to work. So, was this just an act? Were they actually trying to take apart Vision? Were they trying to reassemble Vision? Which we'll get to later. But I don't think that the power saws were on purpose. I think it was a little show. I think he wanted Wanda to try to break in and use her powers on Vision to bring him back. I mean, we saw Project Cataract in the last episode, the rebuilding of Vision, what Hayward's plans were for Vision. And I think he was very disappointed when Wanda didn't take him. I think Hayward wanted her to take Vision so that she could bring him back. Uh, I think Hayward knows way more than he lets on. It's a great villain. I think he plays his part well. He's not like a superhero or a superpowered villain, but he's definitely cunning, smart, knows what he's doing, has all of his steps planned out, ready to go. So I think he's a formidable foe that people will underlook. So she doesn't take Vision. We see that this whole concept of her busting down sword and taking the body was just kind of a trick that Hayward played on everybody. And we see the letter. She goes and she gets to the house that Vision had gotten for them to live in. And we just see the emotion and everything just break her down. And then, boom, we get full on Scarlet Witch, just energy and power coming out. Great. That scene was good. And just seeing how she puts together a house and creates this little ball of energy that just explodes. And then we get the hex. That was great to see how much energy and power she actually has. I think it was like increased by the Mind Stone. I think she had some kind of witch powers before, but the Mind Stone definitely increased that. So then we kind of get Agatha holding back the kids, and that's when it clicks to Agatha who Wanda is. And they made a reference to chaos magic, which is what Scarlet Witch uses, is chaos magic. She is a mutant that went through a high evolutionary process in the comics and came out with chaos magic. So here we have Wanda, which could be a mutant now. We're not for sure. They kind of teased with it. They kind of played on like, when did she actually have these powers? Did she have powers all along? The high evolutionary process in the movies would be the reaction to the Mind Stone, which then gave her access to Scarlet Witch and the chaos magic. It'll be very interesting to see how Marvel plays that out in the next episode, because this could be their way of introducing mutants. This could be the House of M, the comics there, how Wanda just blasted the earth and kind of switched the roles to where instead of mutants were the minority, humans were the minority, and everybody had mutant powers for the most part. So they can do this now since they own Fox. They have X-Men, they have mutants, they have all these rights back, which is why Agatha could say, "You're the Scarlet Witch," which is the first time in the MCU that Wanda has been given her comic book counterpart nickname. Throughout the comics, she was like introduced as Wanda, but we always referred to her as Scarlet Witch. And that's what she's been. And up until now, they've only referred to her as Wanda Maximoff. That's it. But with this, now we can say Scarlet Witch. Yes, I'm all for this. I'm all for it. I'm so excited that we finally get to announce Scarlet Witch, not Wanda or Wanda Maximoff. She has her own name. We got the counterpart. It's excellent. And then chaos magic. So it's just good. It's so good. So then from there it cuts. We get the initial credits, and then we get an end credit scene because Marvel loves us. So the end credit scene, we see Hayward and Sword kind of outside the hex. We're rebacking to them, and you see the woman come out to Hayward and be like, "The project, we're ready for launch." So we finally get to see what this is. He goes in. It seems like they realized how she brought Vision back to life was through her own magic. She's imbued with the Mind Stone. She used her powers. You saw when she was creating the reality with the big boom, her red energy was turning into yellow, golden, and then going into Vision. So she was literally taking the part of the mind, whatever the Mind Stone blasted her with, she was taking that out and putting it into Vision, which I liked. I liked how they did that. I liked that she kind of gave Vision what he gave to her, what the Mind Stone gave to each of them, their powers, their life force, their energy. And so we see them kind of draw the red that was stuck on the drone, which I guess they needed, because I didn't know why they didn't use Monica's clothes, why they didn't use anything else. They used a drone. Drone is technology. Maybe her powers, chaos magic, interfere with technology in a different way. So we see them strip the powers from the drone, and then it kind of imbues with this new visions, white vision, which is reference to the West Coast Avengers, which was a little series in a comic book where Vision was dismantled. And Hank Pym came in, put him back together, and made this new Vision, which was a white Vision, but he had no emotion, which I think is what we're getting at with this one right here. So in the comics, he doesn't have emotion. Eventually, he does come back. And it kind of leads to a split between Wanda and Vision, where they go off and do their own thing. Now, with this white Vision, this could be Marvel's way to give us Vision back, to bring Vision back, to undo his killing and have him around in the MCU. However, I don't think it'll be the White Vision. I think Vision, the Scarlet Witch illusion, and White Vision are going to have a battle, or Wanda herself is going to find a way to put the two together, put the illusion that has all of the memories and everything into this new version of Vision that has the body. So connecting the mind with the body, essentially. That's what I think's going to happen. That's what I think makes the most amount of sense. So we get Vision back, unless it leads to a tragic battle scene where Wanda has to once again kill Vision. So we see the White Vision, and it kind of made some people are thinking that Paul Bettany trolled each and every single one of us by saying that there was a cameo this season. We've all been kind of waiting around for a cameo. Was he just talking about himself? Was the cameo literally Paul Bettany but as a white Vision? If so, my hat is off to Paul Bettany, because that's hilarious. He got us all. Great troll. Great way to get us. I don't think so, though. I'm still hopeful that there is a cameo. We could get a Hank Pym that kind of like brings the two Visions together. We could get. I want it to be Reed Richards so bad. I'm really hoping that the next episode, but we get Reed Richards, we get John Krasinski to show up, introduce us not only to mutants but to Fantastic Four, 2 in 1. Like, what did we just acquire? Fox? Oh, we have X-Men and Fantastic Four now. Let's introduce them. So I think we still have a cameo. I'm hoping we still have a cameo. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm hopeful. Or did Paul Bettany just troll all of us and it's White Vision? That was the cameo, and we just never saw this coming. Also, a very good possibility with Marvel and how they like to mess with us and everything. So we've got one episode left. We have the finale. What are your thoughts? What's going to happen? What is the epic battle scene? What more surprises are we going to get? I mean, we're going to get surprises. There's no reason not to surprise us somehow. We also have to think, how does this lead into Spider-Man 3, No Way Home? But there was just so much going on in this episode. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I do stream on Twitch. Right up there, Cap Stormbreaker. Come on in. Let's chat Marvel. Play some games as well. And I will catch you heroes later. Bye-bye.